Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, Aging in Place with Outdoor Assistive Technology. My name is Jana, and I'm the Training and Virtual Outreach Coordinator for Michigan Assistive Technology Program, and I'll be the chat moderator for today. If anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to unmute or just ask your question at any time if that's easier for you. If you prefer, you can also type them in the chat. I'll be reading anything that goes into the chat out loud just to make everything as accessible as possible. If you need help turning on your captions, we have a live captioner. If you go to the bottom of your menu bar, there should be a CC button where you can click to turn on your captions. And we also have the ASL interpreter here with us that's pinned at the top left of the screen. And then just for some admin stuff, please don't post links in the chat. Just type what you want in the chat, but no links, please. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jaleesa.
Hi, welcome everyone. So as Jana said, this is the Michigan Assistive Technologies Michigan Assistive Technology Programs Aging in Place with Outdoor Assistive Technology. So today we're going to kind of go over a little bit of outdoor rec items that could be useful for folks. So on the screen, I do have an image of a kind of a mock camping site set up at Interlochen State Park. So we have a pop-up cab or tent. We have e-bikes and some gardening equipment, along with some camping chairs, and there is a fire place or fire ring in the image as well. So I am Jaleesa Irwin. I am MATP's Outdoor Rec AT Specialist. And the image of me on this slide is of me hiking on by Lake Superior, wearing a flannel and sunglasses on my head, smiling. And then we also have
And
Abby.
yep, hi, I'm Abby Squires. I am our gaming and crafting AT specialist. And in this photo, I am in Ireland at the Giant's Causeway, and I'm wearing a dark green beanie, and I have my hair in braids, and I'm wearing dark rimmed glasses, and I'm wearing a backpack.
So the Michigan Assistive Technology Program, or MATP, is a free federally funded program that provides AT-related supports around the entire state of Michigan. MATP serves people of all ages. MATP provides demonstrations, loan programs, so we have a lending library, awareness information, trainings, technical assistant, resources, and services to increase access to assistive technology devices. So the cool thing about our program is we're people with disabilities, for people with disabilities, their allies, and other community members. And as I mentioned before, we do have a lending library with over 1,700 pieces of AT for folks to try. Our lending library offers short and long-term loans of AT to help people identify what does and doesn't work for them. So it's kind of like a try before you buy. I always use jar openers as an example for this. There's tons of jar openers out there. And if you purchase one and it doesn't work for you, then you purchase another and another and another. Now you're out the money, and you also are stuck with 6 jar openers that don't work for you. So we kind of come out and we show you those jar openers so you can make a decision before going and purchasing it. One thing to note is we are always updating our inventory listed on our website. So if you don't see what you're looking for, just reach out to us and we might already have it, or we'll be able to add it to our future purchase list. So oh,
I was
so
gonna
what
say
is
assistive
AT?
technology. What is AT? Yeah.
Yeah.
Assistive technology is any item, piece of equipment, software, or app that is used to help people with disabilities, including older adults, do what they'd like to do. Technology can make things easier for everyone. For people with disabilities, AT opens up possibilities.
So on the screen, we do have a couple examples of AT. There's a walker. So that's really familiar for folks, as walkers are considered AT. We also have a medicine reminder. It's a rainbow colored and it has morning around noon, and then nighttime meds, and there's 7 different colors on there, along with a door opener. So this is a grip that will go onto a doorknob, and it just kind of makes it easier to twist. And then something as simple as a rock can be like a piece of AT for calming. If you have anxiety or if you're stressed, rubbing a rock can be beneficial for you.
Joseph wrote
Also,
me. Oh, sorry.
sorry, Jen,
Joseph
I
wrote
got so
me.
excited when I saw it. Sorry, read it. Yeah.
Okay, no, go ahead then. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
say.
Joseph wrote in the chat that they have two, do you call them rigs or do you like spell out the letters? But in Marquette, we could make available for users here. So those are like the accessible bikes, right? Like the 4-wheel ones.
Bikes. We've got a kids version and a adult version that we got from a grant from the USDA. Part of our mobility out work here in the outdoor space. We received a grant for $160,000, and part of that grant we bought 2 of these devices, and we have had people that have requested to use them, so we haven't made them available. But we would, if people were in the Marquette area and they wanted to test them out, we'd be more than happy to work with people to do that. They're brand new units. They're the 2-wheel drive version, and we have them in our on the lower in our proto lab in our basement here in Marquette. So if you guys have a list of devices that's on this, you know, you guys talked about it just a minute ago about having this database of devices. If we could add those in and say that they were located, you know, in Marquette, then people would be aware of it,
Yeah,
and then they could use it. They're really great, even for people with just limited mobility as well, you know, to kind of get out further in the space. They're only 26 inches wide, so they actually, you know, get on almost all the trails. So I'd love to
nice.
That
figure out
is
how we can
so
collaborate and
awesome.
make those available to people if they want to use those.
Yeah. What is
Yeah,
the organization you work for?
Innovate Marquette. So we're the smart zone here in Marquette, Innovate Marquette. We're just launched Outdoor Recreation Innovation Action Network, was an EDA grant. Part of that grant, we looked at the opportunity right now. I think for the first time with the use of technology, you know, individuals with disabilities can for the first time really lead the adventure in our space, and we're really looking at how we can actually make that possible. And so we did a lot of work and feel that a huge opportunity for the outdoor recreation space and actually educating rural communities in their planning to ensure that they have understanding of the value, um, what this could bring to their community for people to be able to have adventure in their space and the devices that required. We also have a unit out in Nagani. It's called Electric Outdoors, and you guys can check this out online. It's an ADA drop, fully self-sustaining camping canopy. So it's about, you know, it's half the size of a shipping container, and it generates its own water. It has power hookup for EV. It has chargers. It has high-speed internet. It's fully self-sustaining campsite canopy called Electric Outdoors. It's solar powered and it's ADA compliant. It has the right. So the front porch is actually a big ramp that goes up into it, and so basically you can take this device and drop it anywhere, and have it be, you know, a fully self-sustaining campsite. You can look at Electric Outdoors website. So we started about a year and a half ago the Outdoor Innovation Fund. So we got a state fund here now. I wrote the grants through the USDA to set the fund up, and that we've made about 20 investments now in the outdoor recreation space. Many of those companies have you know, like Civilized Cycles, Rig, Electric Outdoors have in their long-term planning to make the outdoor space accessible to everyone. And when we look at mobility here in Marquette, we have 4 levels of mobility, and you guys probably talk about this, but we have advanced mobility, general mobility, limited mobility, and no mobility. And we look at 4 verticals and how do we accommodate and ensure that we create trails and environments here so everyone gets to come and enjoy it. So I'd love to share more of that. I just wanted to bring that up. We
yeah,
do have these
Yeah, I
devices.
was
We
like,
have we have e-bikes. We have all kinds of stuff here, including we do have a actual camping experience. There'll be 4 electric outdoor units in Nagani, starting in August, and to make
nice.
people and ensure that people are aware. And then kind of the last piece of that.
All sorts of different places in the UP. So we just actually got back in early May, didn't we, Ab?
mhm.
Yeah. So,
And we're supposed to be going back in the fall.
yep. So
Great.
I
Well,
would
we
love to
can check it out.
collaborate.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
If you're comfortable, well, you can shoot me an email if you'd like, and we can set something up over Zoom, and then we can plan to meet in the fall.
Sounds great. I'd love to.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
So we don't only have outdoor rec items, we also have items for community living, low vision, mental health and recovery, neurodiversity, outdoor recreation, gaming, gardening, um, environmental controls, reading, hearing loss, all sorts of items, AAC devices, cooking, crafting, calendar reminders. We have items for each of these categories to help support people with disabilities and older adults. And again, we traveled the entire state of Michigan. So the image on this slide is of our travel trailer that we have all the e-bikes in, right next to the Mackinac Bridge. Um, so this was a trip that we did when we went to the UP. So if you'd like, type in the chat, unmute yourself, whatever you're comfortable doing, and what's your favorite AT? So I will go first because we traveled the entire state of Michigan. I all the time am using Google Maps. I really enjoy being able to like gauge my how long it's going to take me to get somewhere. If I'm going to hit traffic and I need to let the individual know, like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late because there's construction. I also like it for personal use of finding different fishing spots, trying to see different areas and scout them out to kind of, just see if there's access to the river, or seeing how far of a distance. And then, jumping back to work Google Maps is I use it to look for if the parking lot's going to be accessible for getting the trailer and the big truck in and out of it. Um, so that's my favorite AT. Abby, do you want to share any of these as yours?
My favorite AT, I feel like I always go for the same thing, the reacher grabber that we have in our, because
Yes.
it's not just like your regular reacher grabber. It also has like a hook at the end, and it has like a magnet, but it also has a switch on it so you can turn on a flashlight. So it's super helpful for like seeing under like the couch or if you drop something, and like it just makes it so much easier. And like I have one everywhere. Like in my office, I've picked up a lot of bobby pins with it. I love that the fact
Mhm.
that there's the magnet on there too. It's just super helpful. And it can hold a decent amount of weight as well.
Yeah. And the reacher grabber's great. There are like my grandpa, he had his reacher grabber. He was using it so much it actually broke, but it lasted for like 2 years. And so I quick ordered him a new one off of Amazon. And he's like, oh, he had to wait like 4 days. He's like, I don't know. I dropped the remote so many times I could not get it. And
And a lot
so,
of times they go on sale for like two for $20, and they're actually really
yes,
decent quality. So it's really nice.
yes. So do we have anything in the chat about anyone's favorite AT? Oh, you're muted, Jana.
Sorry about that. I don't see anything. Hold on. Look at the see. No, I haven't seen anything come through.
Okay.
Let me post this. Yep, nothing. Nothing so
Okay.
far.
Perfect. Well, if anyone would like to post anything, we will read it out in a little bit. So let's jump into outdoor recreation because that's why we're all here, right? We might enjoy outdoor recreation or know folks who enjoy outdoor recreation and it might be difficult for them. Um, so through AT, you can kind of help with that. So in our outdoor recreation program, we have e-bikes, we have fishing equipment, camping equipment, hiking equipment, hunting, gardening, rock hunting, and bird watching. So in all of those categories, we have AT. And on the slide, I do have an image of a table that I believe we're in St. Ignace, Abby.
Yep, that
Something
was
with
St.
the
Ignace.
MSU extension.
Yeah.
And so I just have a variety of our AT that's there, from fishing equipment to rock hunting, um, all sorts of things. So fishing AT, This is probably one of my favorite categories, that subcategories that we have. We have a bite alert alarm. So if it's difficult for you to hold onto the fishing rod, or if you might have low vision and you're not able to see the fishing rod kind of bobbing, or a bob or anything bobbing down, that you have a bite, you twist your line around this, and when a fish bites and there's drag, this will um set off like a loud beeping noise. So you'll be able to tell that you have a bite. You also have bells that can go at the end of the fishing rod, and this kind of is just an indicator like, hey, you have a bite. They're pretty low tech, and the only issue with this is if there's any wind or anything like that, they start ringing. So that's something to be aware of. Um, Again, back to if you have a difficult time holding on to the fishing rod, this handcuff and will kind of hold the fishing rod for you with through Velcro, and then on the other hand, you can kind of place onto this hand uh, to help you reel. It's like a little rubber thing that goes onto the fishing reel, and you can reel. We also have fish grabbers. So if you didn't want to touch the fish, or maybe you have limited use to one hand, the fish grabbers are a great way to use a piece of AT to, kind of just grab onto the fish so you can take out the hook. And then my favorite, the automatic fishing reel. So you cast this like your standard fishing rod reel combo setup, but when you want to reel it in, you just press a button. And I know that there's a lot of different options out for fishing reels that are automatic, but this one is just a little teeny, I believe, 9-volt battery. So rather than a lot of them use like big car batteries to reel them up, this one's just a tiny little square battery that you can literally rubber band to the fishing rod. And so I have 3 images on the slide of folks uh, catching Abby's felt fish that she made. And so at the end of the fishing line, we had put washers with Velcro on them, and then folks casted to catch fish, little felt fish. Here's some cool, I guess, higher up AT. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
High tech.
more high tech. Yeah, high tech AT. These are different sonars for finding different depths of the lake that you're fishing in. They can be used on the boat or on shore. And so what they do is they attach to your fishing line, and you cast it out like you would be casting a lure out, and it kind of scans the depth, but it also can find fish for you. And so the eye bobber, I know that they have it color coordinated. So if there's a fish that's less than 15 inches, it will be green. And if it's more than 15 inches, it will be orange. So that could be beneficial. Sometimes like looking at actual sonars um can be difficult to read. I know in some are super high tech, and you need to know, like, you need to go to school to know about how to read the different depths and everything like that. They definitely simplified it for these. They work, I believe just the deeper start is for ice fishing. The eye bobber does only goes to, I believe, only when it's like 32 degrees. So you need to make sure that when you're looking at purchasing these, to make sure that they're going to fit all of your needs. And what they do is they connect through Wi-Fi. They have their own personal Wi-Fi, and they connect to your phone or your iPad, and you can read the depth of the lake that you're fishing through that. And then also they have an app for smartwatches as well for the iBobber.
And I was gonna say one more thing
Oh,
for not ice fishing. I was gonna say Jaleesa has this other cool device. I don't think it's on this specific slideshow, but it's specifically for like one-handed fly fishing, and it's really cool.
yes. And so you can use that. It's like a chest plate that will go attached to you. It's a harness, and that will attach to you. And there's a special bracket that will connect to that chest plate. And so if you do have one hand use, um, you cast with your fishing reel, attach it to the chest plate, and then you can reel in the fishing reel. And then when you do catch something, you can have the fish grabbers attached to your vest. And that's one way to hold on to the fish while you're taking out the hook. It'll be attached to your vest. Your fishing rod will still be on the chest plate, and you can use everything with only one hand use. Is there any questions or anything? Yep.
Not in the chat. Nope.
Perfect. So ice fishing, I hope this is a long ways away, but I really do enjoy ice fishing. I am enjoying the summer. Um, I searched for a really long time to find an ice shanty that didn't have a triangle door. Um, Triangle doors are very difficult to get in, and I don't even know why they have triangle doors. But this one has no lip to get in, so it's wheelchair accessible. Um, it's not a trip hazard for anyone. So you just kind of zip open the door and you can roll in or walk in with just ease. And then once you get into the ice shanty, it's pretty large. I think we had 5 adults and all our fishing gear and chairs and everything like that. And we had tons of space to do activities. So, and we had multiple fishing holes as well. We also have a ice auger that I believe is only 17 pounds with the battery in it and 14 without the battery. And it's electric or battery operated, so you don't have to worry about gasoline or anything. And it drills, it cuts right through the ice, no problem at all. And I forgot to mention that this is a hub style ice shanty, meaning that you just pull out the sides and it all pops up. AT for winter, another topic that we don't want to talk about, but it is important. As someone maybe aging, or if you're worried about, you know, having balancing or being balanced, these can be extremely helpful for folks. So the first image on the slide is of an ice spike on the end of a cane. You can also put these on walkers. You can also put these, our old boss was low vision and she put it on the bottom of her cane, and when she was getting into the car she almost slipped and she had that ice spike to be able to kind of put into the ground to help her from not slipping. The cool thing about these is they kind of flip up, so when you go indoors you don't have these spikes, sticking down. You're able to just pop them up and not use them and then pop them back down when you go outside. Then we have ice cleats. So folks can put these on their boots. This I would recommend to have like a pair of boots that you're not going to want to take these rubber cleats off, because they can be difficult to put them on and off. But they do make versions out there of Velcro ones that you can just kind of Velcro to your boots. They're great for, again, the traction. They help with traction. I always use them ice fishing just for safety. Um, and a lot of folks use them when they're just walking in the town or cities where you know salt trucks might not be able to reach, or businesses haven't salted their area. And then different ergonomic type shovels are great pieces of AT. So this shovel specifically helps with less strain on your back, so the extra handle kind of just helps shoveling snow, I guess. um, So that's a pretty neat thing to have. Snowball makers, this is a fun thing. So say if you wanted to not get on the ground and make snowballs, or if you were, making snowballs from a seated position, this is a handled snowball maker. If you're worried about your hands getting cold, or if your body doesn't like having your hands cold, um, these are great pieces of AT, and they make a perfect snowball. The red snowball maker is actually also a slinger, so you would be able to have a snowball fight or see who can sling the snowball the farthest. Um, so those are great. And then also, if getting outside is difficult for you, but you still want to have a snowball fight, they make little plushy snowballs, or in classrooms, a lot of teachers have like the little plushy snowballs if, children can't go outside, or if you're not allowed to make snowballs on the playground. These are great pieces of AT that you can do. And again, if you don't like touching snow, if it's a sensory thing, then this is great. So some chalk fun. We have a couple of devices that help folks use chalk without getting on the ground. The first two, I believe they're called chalk drawers, right, Abby?
Yeah,
Chalk
the
drawers, Zot's art.
Zots, yeah, I think they have a specific name for it. I can look it up while you're talking about the other.
Yeah, so the Walker style chalk drawer
Yeah, that is it.
is
Chalk
oh
drawer.
perfect. So this is just a walker style. You put big tubes of chalk inside of it and you can walk around like a walker, but you also can attach it to walkers, wheelchairs, so that everyone can participate in chalk fun. um there's another device called walkie chalkies, and these are basically a long stick and it has chalk at the end of it. So again, you don't have to transfer out of a chair. If you have grandchildren and they want to play chalk, you don't have to sit on the ground. Um, and if you don't like touching chalk, like most of us don't, these are great ways to use chalk. So AT for hunting, again, an easy, accessible hunting blind that the entire side flips up and you're able to just roll in or walk in with no lip, no triangle door, just able to easily access it. And I believe the one that we have in our inventory is actually 360. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but the outside of the blind is camouflage, but the inside of the blind you can see out everywhere. So it's really cool. I don't know if that's considered AT, but I don't know. It's just a cool feature that some of the hunting blinds now have. A ghillie suit to fit over a wheelchair, or camouflage yourself if putting on all the hunting gear might be difficult for you. The ghillie suit, you literally can just put it over top of you and it's like a poncho. So this will camouflage all of the equipment that you're sitting on, but also camouflage yourself. And then the last image on the slide is of a really good hunting buddy of mine, and he's using one of our e-bikes to get out to our hunting, one of his hunting spots on our property. So, he has a difficult time walking long distances and carrying his hunting gear, and this is a perfect way for him to get out to where he needs to go. And I'll go more in depth about our e-bikes here in a little bit. So this is probably our newest piece of AT in our hunting or in our outdoor rec library. It is a sight, so it can go onto a rifle, but it also can go onto a crossbow as well. And what this is mainly for is to see through the scope, but also if you are low vision and you have a spotter with you, or if you might not be able to hold your gun up, then you can see what's being seen through the scope on your iPad or on a phone. So with a lot of the phone adapters and that go onto scopes, it's just your phone screen. So it's tiny, right? And if you have a spotter who's with you, is helping you guide where you're going to be shooting, then they they have to stand right over top of you. Well, with this, they can hold an iPad and tell you to move to the left, move to the right, or up or down. So this is a great piece of AT. We actually had someone from the DNR use it, and he said it was absolutely phenomenal. He loved it. He went target shooting with it, and then he also went deer hunting. He didn't get lucky. He didn't see any deer, but he said it worked great. He had his space, and his spotter was still able to be with him, and he had his space, and so everyone just had space, and we're still able to hunt. And I believe this one also can record your hunting too. AT for camping. I know folks said that they really enjoy camping. So different pieces of AT that folks have tried and really liked is the roasting or roastin reel. So
The
this is a
s'more to love.
S'more to Love is the brand. And so what this is it's like your extendable roasting stick, which it's telescoping, which we have some of those, but if dexterity might be difficult, um, this you reel like a fishing reel and it will rotate your marshmallow for you. And so it makes the perfect marshmallow every single time. So neither one of these roasting sticks I would recommend putting anything larger than a hot dog on, because they're not really durable, but they get the job done for marshmallows. Also, there are different types of camping chairs, so that are like size inclusive, some that are easy to fold out. This specific one on the screen is of like a sensory swing. My daughter uses it inside, outside, but they're great. They're called a hammock chair, I believe is what it is, and you can get wrapped up in it like a little cocoon. And it also goes up to like, I believe the weight limit on it is 450 pounds. So size inclusive, um, and it rocks back and forth. So some people like swinging while they're sitting around a campfire. Headlamp, I always say, all of these items, I've said that they're my favorite pieces of AT, but the headlamp I probably use the most of all this AT. The headlamp
I can attest to
is
that. I see Jaleesa with the headlamp on all the time.
yeah. So the headlamp I use for my daily life, if I'm working on the car, if I'm doing like a like building shelves or wherever there's low lighting, or sometimes my brain is like, "Ah, I don't know if we can see it. We need more light." Um, I use the headlamp, but it's great for taking camping. You know, you're able to carry a bunch of stuff if you need to, and you don't have to hold on to a flashlight. Um, I remember like when they first came, well, not first came out, but when they started getting smaller than, the old coal mine headlamps. My dad had one and we used it all the time. We were replacing the batteries all the time for hunting. So great piece of AT, great Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or whatever. I recommend getting everyone a headlamp. And then the other image that I have is individuals using the roasting sticks and cooking over a campfire, but then also an individual using a hiking pole. And I've been seeing a lot of people, even walking in town, um, walking in the mall, using hiking poles rather than canes, if that's something that you want to do. But hiking poles are great for balancing. I believe this one specifically, I think it's called Hiking Buddy or something like that. And it comes in a 2-pack. So they're great. It's great. And they're not that expensive. So I was talking about it earlier when we uh first came on to the Zoom. I need to invest in a cot because my days of sleeping on the air mattress are I I don't think it's gonna be for me anymore. I camped last weekend and my air mattress deflated and I ended up like a taco in my air mattress. I mean, it was comfy and I had, the weighted sensation on me, but my back was really sore. So cots are great for camping. If you are a chair user, you easily transfer. If you have a difficult time getting off the ground, you're able to get off the cot. It's like a foot off the ground, so that might be a little bit easier for folks. And then a tent, this is an easy pop-up tent, just like kind of the canopies that you see at a lot of events. It has 4 poles that are attached to it at all times, and you just pop them up, and boom, the tent is up. It literally takes me less than a minute to get everything set up. Um, the only thing that I haven't been able to find, and Joseph, you were talking about a cool camper. I I wish we could afford one of those for to let people try out, but I have not been able to find a tent that gives you like protection from the outside elements, like water. If there was water, it was raining one time when you're camping. I haven't been able to find like a no lip entrance for tents. Um, so that's something that's on my radar to look up. I just have not found it. AT for bird watching. So I know the slide is pretty busy, but it kind of all adds up together in the last photo. So the first item on here is of a phone adapter that attaches to a binoculars. And this is kind of what I was talking about for the scopes. Um, so this phone adapter hooks up to your binocular, your monoculars, even microscopes, telescopes, and spotting scopes. And whatever's being seen through those devices is also being seen on your phone. So you're able to take pictures and everything like that with it. But you also can zoom in more if you need more magnification. Then we also have a window mount on here. So this will attach if you're going through like scenic wildlife and you're driving through to look for wildlife. This will attach to your window. Um, I recommend for just passenger use. I wouldn't recommend for driver use. It's important to say, pay attention to the road when you're driving through. So um, that's a great piece of AT. If you get tired holding binoculars for a long period of time, this just attaches to your window.
Or if you're shaky too, because that's how
Yes.
I am when I'm trying to hold it for a long time. And same thing with the monocular over the binocular. For
Yep.
me, like when I try to use binoculars, like my brain's like, nope, we can't look through both of these at the same time. So I really prefer using the binoculars, just easier on my eyes and my brain.
Yeah. And so then when you add all of these up together, you get the last image on this slide. And so it's kind of just shows you um, the window mount attached to the window. Then you have the binocular mount that hooks up to the window mount. And then you have the binoculars that have the adapter on it. And so I believe you are able to see a little bit of what's being seen through the binoculars. And the one thing I will say is with the phone adapters and the newer phones these days, they have multiple cameras on there. And so that's difficult to get the correct camera to focus in into what you're looking at. And then more bird watching AT. So harnesses, different style harnesses rather than the neck harness. This is just a harness that goes around your shoulders and keeps your binoculars snug to you. This is the monocular that Abby was talking about. Um, Great pieces of AT. Um, and then tripod. So again, with the shaky hands, if you get fatigue holding the binoculars for a long time, tripod can be super helpful for some folks. And then say if it is difficult to get outside for you and you still want to bird watch, these indoor bird watching devices are pretty neat. There's a window unit that can go into, a sliding window and you put bird seed in there. There has been complaints that squirrels or raccoons like to venture in there and get some seed as well. So if you enjoy watching those, they sometimes come in there, but you can watch the birds from indoors. And then they have came out with a bunch of different outdoor cameras and bird feeders, and you would have to download an app and the camera will take pictures. It's kind of like a trail cam, will take pictures of the birds that come and visit or the other critters that come and visit. And they're kind of mounted into a bird feeder. Are there any questions? We're moving on to the next topic.
No questions in the chat.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute. Alrighty. So rock hunting, again, if bending for long periods of time might be difficult for you or painful, um, or if you're rock hunting from a seated position, um, sand dippers or rock scoops might be beneficial for you. These just kind of, scoop up rocks for you. They're telescoping, so excuse me, you're able to adjust the height that you need. Um, and yeah, we have a square one and a circle one, so they make all different sizes. Ab, do you want to talk about the folding stool?
I would love nothing more. So with the folding stool, that's one of my favorite things. I take that with me everywhere because it's easily like it's super lightweight and I can like kind of just like carry it on my shoulder. And it just allows me to be out in nature for longer because I need to take breaks and I need to sit. And if I sit on the ground, I'm not getting back up for a while. So the stool is really nice. And especially with rock hunting, because I love going rock hunting and I want to stay out there as long as possible. So having the telescoping rock scoop and the stool, it's like the perfect combo, and it's my favorite. And it holds like up a really high amount of weight. And I think is it like 600, I think was the one that I
I think
have, but
so.
like sometimes they vary. Um, and it's just I feel extremely like sturdy on it. I don't feel like it's gonna break. And it's pretty comfortable compared to like some of the
Yeah.
folding stools that are like the little tiny triangles or like
Again
I
with the
really
triangles.
I know. But yeah, I really like the folding stool, yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Ab.
Mhm.
So jumping into gardening, we have a bunch of devices for this as well. There is a gardening bench that is, has it's on legs, but if you flip it over, it can also be a kneeler. And so there's a thick foam pad on the kneeler, and you can use the legs of the kneeler to help yourself up. And then we also have um, different style weeding tools. So these these come in all different shapes and sizes. I don't think the specific one is made anymore, but they all kind of do the same thing. You kind of just poke it into the weed's root and then you pull up, and the entire root is supposed to come out. We have different seed spacing tools. So this is called the seeding square. And say if you're going to plant beets, then you would poke holes all in the red circles, and that gives you your spaces that you need. And then when you're done poking holes and you put the seeds in there, then you can lift it up, and the indent from the last spot that you put the seeding square is going to be there. So that kind of can be your guide to where to place it next time. And then rulers, again, it's just labeled by inches and how far the seeds need to be planted. Is a cool tool to have. So we also have different versions of raised beds. Um, these beds, so the middle image is veg trough, I believe is what it's called. And so it's trough style raised garden bed. And we just did a partnership with Carhartt Workshop based in Detroit, and they donated 10 raised beds to us. And we were able to go and um, give them away to all different organizations in Michigan. So we have two at the Marquette Risa ISD, and we have two at the indigenous community, the Keweenaw Bay Indian Community Garden. I believe it's called Digs. And then we're going to be delivering some to the west side of the state, and we have some in in Traverse City as well. So we were able to donate a lot of these to folks. Um, and there's different styles of raised garden beds, ones that you can wheel under, different heights. There's ground raised garden beds, there's vertical garden beds. So whatever is easiest for you to use. Indoor gardening, I know that they can be very low tech and there can be very high tech. Abby and I were at a training a couple weeks ago, and this lady had a huge version of these with all different types of LED lights and watering systems and all sorts of fancy things. And so there's tons out there, but these are just like kind of tabletop, countertop indoor gardeners. They have different watering hoses that can go into them. It tells you how much sun or fake sunlight that the plants have received. And I would recommend just growing like little herbs in there. I know the image on this slide has big red peppers and tomatoes, but when you set it up, it's not that big to grow all of that stuff. Extendable garden tools are great pieces of AT. So if you are gardening in a seated position or just a standing position, these extend to the height that you need. Um, and they make all different versions of them, shovels and rakes and hoes. They make all kinds of them. Ergonomic hand tools. So these are great if someone has arthritis. Um, the way that these are shaped is so that your wrist is in a straight position rather than when you're holding a standard shovel, your wrist kind of bends. So especially the yellow and green ones, those ones seem to be really helpful for folks because they also can attach this arm cuff on there. So maybe one day your arthritis is really bothering you or you don't have a lot of strength in your hand that day. The arm cuff kind of like you can use your arm strength rather than just your hand strength. And you can use it in combination or just one or the other. And then the long handled version of these also hooks up to the arm cuff. Sprayers and hoses. So they make a bunch of lightweight options out there for hoses. They make hose wagons, if you will. So you can attach put your hose on there and wagon it around your yard. Um, They make the hoses that retract themselves. So when you let off the water pressure or turn off the water, they kind of retract themselves. This one on here is just of a lightweight. I think it's a 75-foot hose. Um, and so folks really enjoy that. And then different style nozzles rather than like the button nozzles that they have um, that are like pretty standard. Everyone has those. They're making them so that they're full hand use or elbow use. So it's a complete on or complete off switch on there. So I say that this one's like a fire person style hose because it has like the huge grip on the top of it that you can push forward and turn it on and pull back and turn it off. And they make those in like long handled versions. And then also the green one, lime green one is on here, I actually just purchased for my house because we don't need an extra long reach. We just need a little bit of reach to get our hanging potted plants. But again, I like the thumb use. I can just literally set it in the plants and leave it on rather than just sitting there and pressing a button the entire time. More AT for watering. So these are pretty technical, high-tech items. They're watering systems that you can hook up to an app on your phone. The first one here is of ones that have tiny hoses that you can have a reservoir, I can't say that word today. A container that holds water for you so you don't have to hook up like a giant hose to it in your home. Um, and you set a timer on there and they're tiny hoses that connect into each plant. And this is all done on an app. And then the Vivor um, water timer is again through the app. And I like this one because if you're going on vacation and say like I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks and I have this, it's going to tell you if it's going to rain that day at your home. So it knows it has the like weather app in it. And so if it's going to rain, then it won't water your plants. Now, if it's text that it didn't rain in your area, then it will water your plants. So that's kind of neat. And this one you fit your standard hose on. And you can hook up like a drip soaker hose to it. Oh, and the seating that I was talking about earlier. So this is a larger image of the seating square. It comes with a guide of how deep and what spacing to plant your seeds in. Um, so like I said earlier, beets go in the red area. So we're gonna poke holes in all the red area. I think corn is in the orange circle. And so that will give you like a foot distance in between each seed. And then weeding, everyone's least favorite task when gardening. Um, we have a um, weed whacker that is battery operated and lightweight. And you can go around your yard. You don't have to worry about gas. This is just a great piece of AT. I bought myself one to use around my yard, and the battery life lasts a really long time. This again is the weeding tool that I was talking about earlier, just grabs onto the weeds, no bending or kneeling. And there is a handle. I believe you push up on this one, Ab. I know that you and I did research on this. I think you like kind of just slide the orange piece and that lets go of the weed.
I think that's right. I'm so used to the other one,
I know
the
the
weed
other one
zinger.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, the weed zinger had, the green one that I was talking about earlier had, um, a little button that you pulled and it flung the weed. So that was fun little thing. And then like a cobra head style weeder, those are great to, get the weeds in different areas. And especially this one is short, it has a short handle on it. So, it's great for raised garden beds. And then different style, I talked about this earlier as well. Different style kneelers. So big foam pads are a lot easier on the knees or sitting. And then the bench style. And there's different versions. So this one's kind of like has bigger tires on it. And it has a tractor seat on there. And so you're able to sit down and roll around the garden. And that's the Tom Care kneeler in different seen as a kneeler and also as a bench. Then different cutting tools, um, working around the yard. We have a long handled pruner. So reaching tall trees, or if you're in a seated position and you need to reach a lower limb, this is you just pull down on the orange part and that kind of clamps the pruner. There's also electric pruners out there that are battery operated. And I would recommend only cutting small little twigs and branches with that. Sometimes it gets jammed up. Electric chainsaws with just a tiny chain part on it. Um, those are great just doing little modern work around the house, yard work. And then the Fiskars, uh, they're non-stick and they have a power gear in them, so you just cl easily close the handles on them, and that gear kind of just helps clamp down. And those are another great gift to anyone. I think I bought my grandma a pair, Abby bought her dad a pair, like everyone gets headlamps and pruners.
And reacher grabbers. No.
And reacher grabbers, yes. And then when you're done tending your garden and growed your garden and all of that stuff, it's time to harvest. So they do make different bucket options or pouch options to have. So this specific one is a Johnny seed harvest bucket. And so it's a harness that goes on your back, so you have like that support there, and then it goes around your arms, and it's a big bucket that fits on your front. And it also has a curve in it, so like it does fit to body shape as well. So I thought that was pretty neat. And it's a bigger style bucket. Believe it's like a foot deep, so you're able to put a lot of harvest in there. A berry bucket, so they claim that this is just for berries, but you could put anything you want in there. And then, oh, I always draw a blank on this. It's like a kangaroo style pouch. That again, I believe it's a back harness, and when you're done harvesting, you can just pull those strings on there and all of your produce can come out.
Yeah, and some of these are actually up in Baraga near the Keweenaw, at the Keweenaw Bay Indian Community, their garden, the Diggs Garden, which is a
Yes.
beautiful garden. And it has like an orchard and berries and everything imaginable. It's so nice.
Yes. And then e-bikes. So we have a lot of e-bikes in inventory. And again, going back to that try before you buy, e-bikes can be expensive. And if they don't work for you, then you're out the money and you're stuck with a bike that you don't like. Um, these two images are showing the different varieties that we have. We were at an event in Port Huron and we brought all the e-bikes out for folks to try out and go along the river walk. And then another event that we go to every year and a couple times in the summer is Diversibility Days in Oakland County. And this is individuals on a trike. So we have trikes and two-wheeled bikes. So the first one that I will say that we do have is the Electric XP Step Through 3.0. And I actually just got an email that they just came out with a 4.0. So that's fun. But this bike is supposed to be step through, so easy on, easy off. The top speed on it is 28 miles per hour. And the battery range on it is 45 plus miles an hour. And that all depends on how much you're using the pedal assist, which is when you're pedaling and the motor kicks in. Um, though that can be extremely helpful for folks. And then also how much you're using the throttle as well. So with these e-bikes, you can use the pedal assist. You can have 0 pedal assist, or you can go all the way up to 5 pedal assist, meaning that 5 is going to be the one that's going to be helping you out the most. Um, they come with baskets so you can carry things in them. Um, and they have lights on them, so they're pretty cool. This one's really cool, a fan favorite, I would say. This one also folds up and can go into like a 45-gallon tote. Um, and so a lot of people who travel to like Florida in the wintertime or travel with a RV, it will fold up and fit in a 45-gallon bucket, and they store it underneath their RV or throw it in the bed of their truck. So this is the Rad Expand 5 Plus. Top speed on this one is 20 miles an hour, and they say the range is 60 plus miles. I will also note the range for the battery life depends on, you as an individual, your weight, also your height, and what terrain you're traveling on. So if you're going to be riding through grassy areas or, muddy areas, then the battery might not last that 60 miles. If you're doing pavement or gravel, it might last that 60 miles. So that's something to keep in mind when you are um, trying out these bikes. And this is more of a mountain bike style. This is the Rad Rover 6 Plus. Top speed is 20 miles an hour, and they say that it is 45 plus miles on one battery charge. And then something also to note about these is that sometimes the batteries take quite a while to charge, depending on how low they are. So I believe from completely, well, I can't attest to how long it takes because I've never let them drain all the way. Um, but I would say at least 6 hours from like 20% to 100 would be 6 hours. And then trike. So I'm actually going to skip forward to the next slide. So this is the first trike that we had was Liberty Trike, and it says that it only goes 8 to 12 miles per hour. I never could get it faster than 8 miles an hour. I pedaled, I tried, and it never went any faster. And it only goes a short distance, like 8 to 12 miles on per charge as well. And so the bike's kind of heavy, and you only can travel with this one on pavement. It doesn't like going on gravel, it doesn't like going on grass. So I always start kids out on this, just if they, are getting used to riding a bike, also getting used to riding an e-bike and they're unsure about riding a bike, this is the one that I start them on. Get them to try it out. So again, a lot of folks in Florida, older adults who are just going around, town on sidewalks, this is a great e-bike to have. But there are some folks who are worried about balancing and they want to go out onto the grass and out onto dirt and gravel. So I'm really happy about the trikes that Rad and Electric came out with. These are more rugged than the last ones. I wouldn't say take these through the, big mud like you might do with the other fat tire bikes. Um, but the top speed on these are 14 miles an hour, and the range is a lot better than the 8 to 12 miles. They're 55 plus. And yeah, a lot of folks have been liking these in northern Michigan. They might live in like a senior living facility and want to go to town. And so they just jump on this bike and can go to town with them. Or I knew an individual who went to the beach with them. I can't say how much it worked, how well it worked in the sand, but they wrote it out on the beach. And that's Liberty Trike. Also, like Abby had mentioned before, AT is considered any item, app, software that people use. So apps, there are quite a few outdoor rec apps out there. One of my favorites being the All Trails app. So I like to see an area before I go and hike it, or anywhere I go, I like to see an area, but especially with hiking, I want to know what I'm getting into. And so All Trails has this feature, and I believe it's on the free feature that you can see pretty much every part of that hike. I hiked a trail in the UP and I looked at the images and everything like that. And I'm like, this looks like a really nice hike. But a cool thing also is that you can read the reviews that people have left about the trails and the conditions that the trails are in. So they're pretty up to date on trail conditions, but also they can tell you like, oh, this hike said that it was moderate, but it should have really been difficult. And so don't be like me and ignore the difficult part because that hike was difficult, but the pictures didn't make it seem like it was really difficult. Um, so that's a great thing. And then you can also look at what the terrain's going to be when you have that images of throughout the hike. So you can see if it's gravel, if it's hills, if it's roots, whatever it is, you'll be able to see it. The Merlin Bird ID app is a great app for bird watchers. So with this, you can bird by sound. There's a feature where you can press record and it's going to record all the birds chirping around you, and then it identifies them. You can also bird by sight. So you can either take a picture of the bird and then the app will decide, tell you what they think it is. And then um, you can also say you didn't have time to pull out your phone and take a picture. You can say, hey, I seen a red bird about robin size in Detroit on this date. And then the app will tell you like, hey, that's probably a cardinal, and it depends on your area. Do you want to add anything to that, Ab?
No, I think you described it perfectly. And I
Okay.
love and I love the Seek app so much. And that one's really cool because I love going out, taking pictures of plants, and then having it be able to tell you like what plant family it's from and give you more information about it. And it even does it with like bugs and stuff. I love it.
Yeah, and so yeah, the Seek app, but then also Google Lens can do that as well. So all the
Hmm.
time, actually just this weekend I was at my grandparents and my grandma was like, "Can you please help me identify this bush that's growing by my raspberries?" And it looks like it's going to be a raspberry or blackberry, but the flowers on it were way different than any raspberries or blackberries that we've seen. So I took Google Lens out there and I took a picture. We found out that it was Japanese wine berries that she has in her berry patch. We don't know how it got there, but it's there, and I so now we know. So you can use the Google Lens for identifying trees, bugs, birds as well. And then the Michigan DNR app too has where you can pick what accessibility features that you need. So do you need an accessible campsite? Do you need an accessible boat launch? Um, they have on there different types of trails that talk about the grade of the trail or what the material is that you're going to be walking or rolling on. Um, so the DNR app is pretty cool for finding all those things. And then also you can look on there for track chairs, so which are like um motorized wheelchairs that have um how would you describe the tracks on the track chair, Ab?
It reminds me of like a bulldozer.
Yeah,
Like,
like
yeah,
bulldozer style. And so these are all terrain chairs that can go in pretty much any terrain. And you can find where they're located. And so I believe that the DNR officer I just talked to said that they had 16 available in Michigan now across the state. So there are some in Tequamanon, there are some in Sleeping Bear Dunes, there's one in Interlochen State Park. All that folks with disabilities can use. I believe that there's a sign up sheet, and I think you can get that from the DNR app. So takeaway, we are here to help. We provide demonstrations on how to use devices. If you're interested in a device but unsure if it will work, or worried about funding, or if your organization does not have the capacity to learn a new device, we can help. You can borrow these devices and try them. The device does not have to be in our lending library. We're always adding inventory all the time. We're free, federally funded. We're here for you to learn and create a space for more access to AT devices. So there is that. Feel free to contact us. Jana will drop this in the chat. Our general contact information and email are on here. I'm just going to drop them in there. And if you're interested in learning more about our organization or receiving training or AT demonstrations, just feel free to reach out. And then my personal contact information is on here as well. So if you want to specifically just know about outdoor recreation, please reach out to me personally and we can make it happen.